All right, I was just in the movie, Nickel Boys. I came back from the Nickel Boys movie. It got nominated for an Oscar. Haven't seen it. Thought I'd go see it. I get home. I live in Inglewood, California. I'm right by the Forum and SoFi. I'm like 5 minutes within walking distance. I've been in Los Angeles for about 16 years now, so kind of by proxy, a Lakers fan, right? I don't understand what the hell's going on. Not that it's a frantic thing. I need some help. I need some clarity on what this Luka Doncic 80 trade means because it doesn't make sense to me. And yeah, I know this is too early to be doing this. Sorry, I don't try to do the reaction, like instant reaction thing, but when I hear it, usually, I'm not a savant, but I know how salary cap works. I know how contracts work. I know how building for the future works. I'm very familiar with having an aging superstar and how that limits your. It's always a catch-22 and trying to satisfy that superstar and try to maybe like maximize the last couple of years in their career while also honoring what they've done for the franchise. But this doesn't make sense in any way to me. So the only thing I can think about is that this is only the first chip to fall and more chips to fall. So this is what I like to do when something like this happens. It makes me think of questions that I don't have the answers to. I'm hoping you guys have the answers to. Just 5 questions about the AD trade with Luka Doncic. One, let's get into it really quick. You probably have the same questions, but I wanted to ask it. Because of the sheer fact, like you don't have to be a basketball savant, even if you're just have passive knowledge, no one has a clue how the hell Luka and LeBron are going to play together. I don't understand that. I know that at this point in LeBron's career, he's more susceptible to taking a back seat to a major player, maybe. But does LeBron actually know how to do that and want to do that at this point in his career? LeBron, one of the greatest of all time, we know that. We don't have to lament that fact. But stopped playing defense maybe like 4 years ago. Doesn't move off the ball that much. Needs the ball. His usage percentage is kind of crazy. He needs the ball to create. It's not that he can't do. I mean, it's not that he wouldn't want to. When we see these things with aging superstars, it's like, can LeBron actually do that? Now I know I don't want to downplay LeBron because you'd have a tough time finding a higher basketball IQ in all time. You know, his basketball IQ is just tremendous, but he's been playing the same way for about 17 years now. And what are you actually asking a 40-year-old LeBron to do playing number 2 to Luka? Not even to mention the year Austin Reeves has been having under J.J. Redick. You know, Austin Reeves has been having a great year under J.J. Redick. What do? Do you move him to the 2? Do you bring him off the bench? The number one question I just have is, how the hell did? Oh, sorry, I'm flustered, but I guess the number one question we would have is because we think about how Luka and LeBron would play together is, one, are the Lakers done making moves? Because a clickbait warning, I hope this isn't a clickbait warning. It's just me trying to have an authentic conversation, but they're not going to deal LeBron, are they? Right? Like, there's no way you deal LeBron too, right? I don't think that's going to happen, but if you trade AD first and bring another ball-dominant player who's at the higher peak of their game right now and make LeBron take a backseat, doesn't it seem like that would be the natural next move? You're not going to have LeBron, who maybe this might be his last year, maybe he has another year left. You're not going to have him like running off of picks and setting screens and like relegating him to corner threes and maybe not even touching the ball in the last like 5 minutes of the game because Luka's like Caucasian James Harden, prime James Harden, you know, like he just like, I don't know. It doesn't make sense to me. Please feel free to comment. I genuinely ask these questions because I'm like, I want to know people's opinion on this. Does this make sense to you? Are the Lakers done making moves? There's no way they deal LeBron too, right? Because just like 2 weeks ago, I was thinking to myself, what are the trade scenarios for LeBron? What team would be interested in getting an aging superstar like LeBron who just like needs to pound the leather out the ball, right? Name me a team that has a benefit right now coming up on the halfway season mark before All-Star games. Who can add LeBron, which forces you to change your whole dynamic and team chemistry, and then you have 3 months to get it together to make a playoff run? I'm not saying there isn't. I'm just saying none come to mind. That's my first question. Second question. This is the second thing I had to think about when I heard this trade. What was going on with Luka in Dallas? Now, keep in mind, he's always been the smokes cigarettes, doesn't really take his health serious. And we're okay with that because the dude just hoops. Just a natural hooper, just like a bucket getter. It's crazy how much you're okay with the obvious flaws when a person is showing that level of expertise at their game. It's like, if there's Zion Williamson, you're like, you probably need to take your weight and maybe your caloric intake a little bit more seriously right now. But like at Luka's point right now, and for the next 2 to maybe 2.5, 3 years, he's going to be at the prime of his career. You don't take those things seriously, but maybe that changed. I mean, shout out to Dallas because no one heard a peep about being dissatisfied with Luka. And if they were, no one said shit, which is dope. It's dope as an organization, but was there more going on than ever got let out about Luka? It must have, right? If you just deal your player at 10 o'clock at night, like your superstar, your like cornerstone of your franchise for Anthony Davis, who's probably past his prime, who's still got plenty, maybe 3 to 4 proficient years that he can play at the 4 and probably get you some like interesting first or second round playoff exits, but that's about it when you just pair him with Kyrie. Plus, you kind of have a log jam at the 4 and 5 position with Gafford and Lively and Anthony Davis now. I don't know. I don't know, man. The second, again, give me some input in this chat 'cause I don't have a clue. Third question. Does this make the Lakers better? Give it a sec. Does this actually make the Lakers better? I'm not so sure. Again, I just heard about the trade 40 minutes ago. I was in a movie, and I haven't had time to play out the scenarios about whether this actually makes the Lakers better. I know what it does is give you one of the top 3 players in the world, but it completely changes how the other players on that team help that top player now. Again, all circumstantial. If we're asking LeBron to stay there, if you were thinking LeBron's going to stay in LA, we are, whether you want to admit it or not, asking him to be a different player. The usage rate of both these guys on the court, that's going to be the hot take from all these like ESPNs and stuff. You'll see that. Like, how are these guys going to play together? They're both smart. I just don't think it's the best use of both of their skills. Question 4. This is just stuff I care about. I don't know if you guys care about it, but I genuinely, being a big Kobe guy, I genuinely care about the way legends' career end. It means something to me. Like, I like Kobe scoring 60 like at the last game of his career. That stuff means something to me. When your favorite movie gets remade and you're like, they're ruining my childhood. I have that same feeling about when I see my aging superstar limping off in the last 1 or 2 years of his career where he can only play like 12 minutes a game and he's just a shell of his former self. Is this how LeBron's career ends? Now, keep in mind, the level LeBron is playing at is still better than maybe 80% of the league? Not on defense, but on offense and running a team, running an offense, he's still better than maybe 80% of the league right now. You probably have him, that's my dryer, sorry. You probably have him at like top 20 players right now. Maybe you do. That defense thing is a big asterisk because he just picks when he wants to. He picks his spots. I mean, don't blame the guy. He's 40 years old. I pick my spots right now, and I'm nowhere near an athlete. So I don't know, man. Does this actually make the Lakers team better? Because now you honestly have maybe the best bucket getter in the world right now. Can LeBron string together, I don't know, a month and a half or 2 months of high energy, high efficiency basketball to be Luka's number 2 when you get into the deep runs of playoff? And how healthy is Luka? That's not one of my questions, but like, I don't know, man. I do care about how LeBron's career ends. Even me being like, I guess I fall victim to what other people fall victim to now in the NBA, where like when we were growing up in the 90s, people were loyal to teams. And then when the player empowerment movement came in, fans started being more loyal to players. Not all of them, but there's a contingent of people that are like, I don't have a team. I just fuck with Kevin Durant. and I just follow him wherever he goes or whoever, Um, and things like that make me really care about someone like Steph, who's like the most lovable guy in the world, as long as you don't live in like Sacramento or something. Shout out to Sac. But even when I'm watching Steph now, I'm like, damn, man, it really hurts me to see like one of the best players in our game, the best shooter to ever live, almost wasting his talent on a team that's stuck between like a rebuilding year and still trying to be competitive. They don't actually want to make any moves to try to make a deep playoff run because they don't know how realistic that is, and they're not bad enough to tank. And now we're just watching Steph run off picks and maybe have a 30-point night, bounce that off to a 15-point night, got to miss back-to-backs. I care about that stuff. I don't know how, like, it's circumstantial, and I don't know how much that means in terms of, like, this upper echelon of careers and what we take into consideration. But as kids who grow up, like, really becoming super fans of these guys, Steph, I think, and I'll argue to I'm blue in the face that he's the most influential NBA player ever. He, like, eliminated positions. He's completely flipped the style of play. And I don't want to see Steph going out, like, scoring 15 points on a team that's like maybe trying to at the play-in if they're lucky, and then probably get bounced in that. And the same thing applies to LeBron here, where it's like I've never been a huge LeBron guy. I've always had respect for him off the court and the things he gets involved with, and on the court too. But it's like, damn, man, I don't want to see LeBron going out like, is this last year playing wingman to Luka Doncic, like lighting his cigarettes in the locker room, laughing at his jokes, I don't want that for LeBron, bro. I want a competitive, deep playoff run, and I still want to root for LeBron as being the number one on his team. I don't know. Maybe that's sentimental, and maybe he hasn't been the number one for a while because AD's a beast. But I'm like, I just don't want this to be the way LeBron's career ends. Last one, and then I'll get out of here. Please leave your comments. Maybe I'm missing big questions. This one isn't so specific, but what are the playoff implications for the West now? Does it change at all? Does this mean anything? How do the Lakers match up with Oklahoma City now? Memphis Grizzlies, why is no one talking about Memphis? I know John Morant's like randomly bad now, or then randomly good. All of a sudden, I don't know. Why is no one talking about Memphis? I think they're actually kind of sneaky in the playoffs. But what implications does it have, if any? If you are the Oklahoma City Thunder, if you are the Memphis Grizzlies, who are just patching together a solid season, Memphis is probably playing above their projection. Oklahoma City's probably playing right on. Do you want to see a Lakers team that has the smartest basketball player ever, probably in LeBron James, and then one of the hardest perimeter players to guard? Do you want to see them in the first round? Here's the thing. Whenever trades like this happen mid-season, you don't have tape on these people because they don't even know the identity of their team. JJ Redick's probably going to go in the lab and be like, what do I have here? And you can't prepare for that. The regular season is like all of the test runs to get familiar with the teams you're going to play. And now we don't even know how this Laker team plays. They could be completely deadly, or they could hate each other on court and not work. But if you're one of the top seeded teams in the West, do you want to face a Lakers team that's like this big question mark? I don't know if I'm like SGA and like Chet Holmgren, that maybe do I want to see Luka and LeBron together if like the game's tight and it gets to a game 6 or 7? I don't know, man. Sorry, I rambled a little bit. I'm amped up because I don't know what this means for my lovely, like, I don't know. I've been in LA for about 15 years now, and I'm just like, what? The other things we could get into that I won't right now is like, Luka being in LA has crazy implications, and you guys know that. But it's like, now LA has a future, which it seemed like the last 3 years we were like, okay, we're just going to try to ride this thing out, and we're just going to keep making Expendables movies. That's what being a Lakers fan has been like. It's like Expendables 9 with Bruce Willis and Dolph Lundgren. It's like, okay, I guess I'll see it. I don't know. They were cool once, and it's still buzzy. But you guys know how the Lakers fans are. Like, you go to a Lakers game, and the first 20 rows aren't basketball fans, No hate to all the elitists out there that can afford those tickets. But, like, this gives, again, this is not a hot take. People say this, but, like, basketball is just so much better when New York and LA are good at it. People are drawn to it. There's a buzz. There's a magnet there. And putting maybe one of the best players, sorry, Nicola, All right, let me apologize. Nicola, you're the best player in the world. My fault, gang. Maybe the second best player in the world on one of the biggest markets in America. Is this Beckham in the Galaxy? Is this like, I don't know. It's fun to play that out. I'm excited. I'm worried. I'm mostly just confused, man. Give me some input in the chat. Sorry, I'm just kind of rambling here and giving you random thoughts because I came home late and found this out, and I'm just like, what the hell is going on? Like, I can't see the motive behind this. But when things like this happen, 2 weeks later, some Dallas journalist will be like, Luka was doing this in the locker room. There'll be like a hit piece that comes out on Luka, or like AD being like, he asked for a center 2 weeks ago, and now LA's like, nah, it's too LeBron-ish of you. Get out of here. I don't know. You'll see the articles come out from both regions of like LA and Dallas, and that's going to be easier to play out. And maybe this ultimately doesn't even mean a thing because this will be the first chip in a lot of like other chips that will fall in this crazy like trade deadline. So give me your thoughts. Thank you guys for listening to me ramble. I want to hear what you're thinking. Going to be a great end to the NBA season either way. At least this shakes things up. And I really think this might be one of those trade deadline years where like one big trade has a lot of effects on the second one. So appreciate you guys watching. Like, comment, whatever. If you're not home, get home safe. We'll talk to you soon.